Welcome to the shadow frequency, where the veil between this world and the next grows thin, and the things that whisper in the dark are given voice. From the cryptic candlelit studios, deep in the Indiana forests, your host, Matt Wilson, and his spectral producer, Juniper Ravenwood, unearth the forbidden, the forgotten, and the fearsome. So, still your heart, dim the light, and listen closely. For once you tune into the shadow frequency, you may never tune out.
Matt, is that you? You're breaking up. Hold on. Matt, slow down. Where are you calling from? Is this another one of the field recorder bleed-throughs? Why does it sound like you're outside? Matt, come back. What is on that hill?
Juniper, I'm right here.
What? No, Matt, I was just talking to you on the CB. You were calling for help.
Juniper, I haven't touched that thing tonight. I was literally adjusting levels for the intro music.
Okay. Either ghosts are early or the CB is pulling voices from somewhere it shouldn't.
Wouldn't be the first time, but seriously, who was that?
If I knew, I'd be calling an exorcist or a radio engineer, whichever picks up first. Let's get this open here.
There it is, the file cabinet that actively resents being opened.
That's where this thing has moods. And today, it feels cold, like it knows what folder I'm looking for. Here, weather-stained blue dossier with 1945 Walton case, Meon Hill, scribbled across the top in pencil that looks older than both of us.
Perfect, because those CB voices sounded like something straight out of the English countryside on a freezing February morning.
On February 14th, 1945, Charles Walton, the 74-year-old farm laborer, was found murdered at the foot of Meon Hill. His own tools used against him. No motive, no suspect, and a village drowning in superstition.
A case the police thought they could wrap up until they stepped into a village still living in the shadow of ancient rites, black dogs, and whispered curses.
Even Scotland Yard couldn't untangle it, and some say the Hill still remembers what happened that day.
Tonight we open a file on a murder attributed, depending on who you ask, to witchcraft, druid sacrifice, wartime paranoia, or something darker that walked the hedgerows long before England had a name.
Ready when you are. Just maybe don't answer any more CB calls from alternate versions of yourself.
If another Matt starts calling, at least ask him what year he's broadcasting from. From the shadowed slopes of Meon Hill to the cold fields of Lower Quentin. This is the Shadow Frequency Podcast. Let's step into the fog.
You are tuned to the shadow frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. Hosted by Matt Wilson. Produced by Juniper Ravenwood. With Chris Beach. The darkness continues.
Welcome, wanderers of the unseen, to another descent into the shadows with the shadow frequency. I'm Juniper, your guide through the fog, and tonight we tread paths where the old earth remembers blood spilled under a Valentine's moon. Picture this, a frost-kissed hill in rural England, 1945. The war's dying echo still rattling like loose bones. A quiet old man heads out to trim the hedges, his tools heavy in his gnarled hands. He never comes home. What they found pinned to that ground wasn't just a body, it was a warning, carved in flesh and folklore, whispering of curses that twist through the roots of ancient oaks. Was it a witch's end, a druid's offering, or something hungrier stalking the mist? Pull your chair closer, dim the lights, because on this episode, we're unraveling the cursing at Meon Hill, the unsolved murder of Charles Walton. Matt, you ready to open that creaky old file?
Juniper, if this file's as dusty and cursed as the last one, I might need a salt circle just to crack it.
Right.
Folks, buckle up. We're diving into a tale where black dogs howl prophecies and the line between man and myth blurs into a bloody haze. But first, a quick shadow to what's ahead, whispers of rituals that could chill your marrow, and a village that sealed its lips tighter than a grave.
Oh, it's got teeth, this one. Layers of fog and fear that stick like damp earth. All right, Matt, lead us into the gloom. What's the first page say?
Thanks, Juniper. You always know how to unearth the bones that rattle loudest. Folks, picture me here in the dim glow of my desk lamp, flipping open this manila folder that's seen better decades. The edges are frayed. It's like it's been clawed by something with too many fingers. And the scent? Faint ink and regret, the kind that lingers from a case that never closed. Today we're stepping back to February 14th, 1945, a day meant for lovers. But in the shadow of Meon Hill, it became a lover's quarrel with death itself. Our story centers on Charles Walton, a 74-year-old farm laborer from Lower Quinton, Warwickshire. Charles wasn't the type to chase headlines or pub brawls. No, he was the quiet sort, the one who moved through life like mist over the fields, solitary, unassuming, but with eyes that held secrets older than the hills. Let me paint him for you. Born in 1870, right there in the village, Charles spent his days as a hedger and ditcher, coaxing the land to yield with calloused hands and a pitchfork that was more extension of his arm than tool. He lived humbly with his wife Edith in a cottage that hugged the earth, scraping by on odd jobs even as rheumatism gnawed at his joints. But here's where the chill sets in. Charles had a reputation that whispered through the hedgerows like wind through thorns. Locals called him odd, not in a harmless quirk way, but with that sidelong glance you give the stranger who knows your name without asking. Stories clung to him like burrs. They said he could speak to birds, coaxing sparrows and crows to perch on his shoulder mid-stride, spilling secrets of the sky in chirps only he understood. Animals trusted him. Wild dogs that snarled at anyone else would heel at his low murmur, tails low but eyes soft, as if he'd whispered spells into their blood. And then, the black dogs. Folks, in English folklore, nothing spells doom quite like a spectral hound. Those shaggy beasts with eyes like glowing coals, harbingers of the grave straight from the mist of old tales. Charles, as a boy, claimed he'd seen one racing across Meon Hill for 3 nights running, right before his sister slipped away in '85. From then on, villagers murmured he'd been marked, that the grim had brushed him with its paw, leaving him half in our world, half in the howling beyond. Was he a lonely old soul bent by years and loss? Or something sharper, a clever witch, weaving charms from hawthorn and toad's breath? Juniper, hand me that snippet from the old statements. Let's hear the echoes. All right, here's one from a neighbor, Mrs. Blake, dated March 45. Old Charles, he'd walk the paths at dusk, muttering to the winds, and the birds follow like parishioners to sermon. Harmless? Aye, till you saw his eyes after a storm, sharp as thorns, knowing too much. Chilling, right? And another from young Tommy Briggs. He tamed the stray that bit father, just a word and a stare. But the nights when the fog rolls thick, you'd swear shadows trailed him, low and snarling. See, these aren't just gossip. They're threads in a tapestry of unease, woven tight around a man who kept to himself but couldn't hide from the village's watchful eyes. Now let's drift to Lower Quinton itself in those final frayed months of World War II. The air's thick with ration books and blackout fears. Bombs no longer falling, but their ghosts still pattering like rain on tin roofs. This isn't some bustling city. It's a cluster of stone cottages huddling against Meon Hill, a place where modern wireless radios crackle alongside tales your gran swears are gospel. The war's paranoia seeps in like damp rot, amplifying every creak into a curse. But Meon Hill, that's the heart of the haunt, rising like a sentinel over the village. It's laced with veins of the supernatural, pulsing for centuries. Druid sacrifices, they say, altars of chalk and bone where the old ones spilled blood to coax the sun from winter's grip. Witchcraft trials scarred its flanks back in 1600s, nooses swaying from yews that still twist like hanged men's fingers. Phantom black dogs prowl its flanks, materializing in the gloaming to drag souls kicking into the barrow mounds. And the lights, strange drifting orbs that bob like will-o'-the-wisps, luring the unwary to bogs that swallow screams whole. Reports go back hundreds of years. Roman centurions sighting ghostly hosts, medieval shepherds vanishing mid-chant. Meon Hill isn't just land, it's a living memory, jealous and hungry, for the veil phrased thin enough to hear the dead bargain. Cut to that fateful Valentine's Eve. Charles sets out from his cottage around noon, tools slung over his shoulder, a billhook for slashing brambles, a pitchfork for leverage, his stout walking stick against the chill. The Firs farm, owned by Alfred Potter, waits on the hill's slope. Routine work, or so it seems. By 5 p.m., Edith's worry curdles to dread. Charles is never late. She rallies neighbor Harry Beasley and Potter himself, and they trudge into the gathering dusk, lanterns flickering like hesitant spirits. What they find, folks, it freezes the blood. There, near a gnarled hawthorn, Charles Walton, pinned to the earth like a pagan offering. His own pitchfork driven through his neck and jaw, prongs sunk deep into the soil, holding him fast as if the hill claimed him. The billhook, his trusted blade, jammed into the throat, nearly severing the head in a ragged gash that wept dark onto the frost. Bruises bloom across his chest, ribs cracked like dry twigs, and etched there a crude cross, ritualistic in its deliberate slice. No frenzy of struggle, no trampled grass screaming robbery, his pockets untouched, save for a missing pocket watch that ticks away the mystery. Just stillness, as if death arrived with purpose, cold and ceremonial. Word spreads like foxfire through the lanes. A witch killing. They hiss in parlors warmed by meager coal. Ritual gone awry. The old man's curse rebounded. Unease coils tight. Mothers bolt doors at sundown, warning young ones from the hill's shadowed paths. Meon Hill, once a playground for kite strings, now broods under a pall, its winds carrying faint, imagined howls. Juniper, you got that envelope marked Folklore? Yeah, pull out the hex hammer bit. Reminds me of those continental horrors where inquisitors drove stakes through witches to bleed the devil from their veins, or the bell pit rites in the Black Forest where blood oaths sealed under full moons summoned things. Charles' End echoes them too perfectly. Tools turned to talismans, the cross a ward or an accusation. Was it greed cloaked in grims, or the old ways clawing back from the barrows? Hang on, listeners, because when Scotland Yard rolls in, the fog only thickens. Detective Superintendent Robert Fabian, hard-boiled legend, the man who cracked safes and skulls alike, arrives with D.S. Albert Webb expecting a straightforward smash and grab. Instead, Lower Quentin clamps shut like a cursed locket. Fabian steps into a village where eyes dart like startled crows, words twist into contradictions, and silence hangs heavier than the rationed fog. Over 500 statements from babes to elders, but every tale phrase at the edges. Saw a stranger's shadow, one claims. Heard the dogs bay at noon, says another. Hints of occult undercurrents bubble up. Whispers of Walton's powers. Fears of reprisal from the unseen coven. But no one elaborates, lips sealed by a terror older than the Magna Carta. Fabian's team combs the hill with mine detectors, snaps aerial shots where bloodstains bloom like accusing roses. But the watch? Vanished. No footprints trail to a door, no fibers snag on guilt. Even Fabian, the rational razor, admits in his later scribbles that Meon Hill unnerved him. A primal itch, like eyes watching from the stones whispering, "Turn back." And the theories? Oh, they bloom like nightshade. Envelope 1, Folklore. The tools, pitchfork as stake, billhook as sacrificial blade. Scream ritual, pinning the witch to drain his essence into the earth, per ancient druid lore. That cross on his chest? Runic ward or inverted hex, straight from the hill's bloodied history. Theory 2, Village grudge. Hedgerow spats festering into wartime venom. Folklore, the perfect veil for a neighbor's knife. 3. Practical rot. Money owed to Potter. Landlines blurred by desperation. But the fog holds no ledger. 4. The grim. Black dog sighting spiked that winter. Walton's boyhood phantom returned to claim its due, inspiring a killer touched by the same omen. And 5. The cursing man. Villagers swore Charles hexed failing crops, soured milk. Had he woven one too many, rebounding like a boomerang from the barrows? Matt here, feeling that hill's pull even now. What if the curse isn't ended, just waiting for the next fool to trim the thorns? Phew, that hill's got a way of pulling you under, doesn't it? Leaves you wondering if Charles was the sacrifice, or the summoner.
Under doesn't cover it, Matt. I'm half convinced my coffee just whispered back.
Yeah.
What's lurking in the second half? Don't leave us hanging in this fog.
Fair warning, Juniper. We're peeling back more layers, theories that twist like roots, and yeah, one rational thread to gnaw on, but the eerie, it lingers. Stick around after the break. We've got mail from the shadows calling.
Man, that first half, Meon Hill's got its hooks in deep tonight, doesn't it? Charles Walton's story feels like one of those old ballads that ends with the singer vanishing mid-verse, equal parts heartbreaking and awning. I keep picturing that cross carved in the chill, the wind carrying away whatever pleas you might have whispered last. What about you, listeners? You buying the black dog omens? Or is there something more? Humans slithering through the mist. We've got theories ahead that'll make your skin prickle, plus a peek at how this curse echoes in our world today. But first, here's a word from Chris.
Thanks, Juniper. Hey everybody, Chris Beach here. And listen, if you love the ritual of great coffee but don't always want the full caffeine blast, you've got to check out Savorista Coffee. They craft premium decaf and half-calf blends with bold, rich flavors, all made from high-altitude, hand-picked Arabica beans. Everything's naturally decaffeinated using water or sugarcane-based methods, so there are zero harsh chemicals. Savorista works directly with farmers from Colombia, Ethiopia, Rwanda, and more. And their small batch roasting brings out those incredible flavor notes, like the chocolatey smooth profile in their Colombian inspiration decaf. And here's the best part. Shadow Frequency listeners get 25% off any product with the promo code SHADOW25 at savorista.com. All right, I'm grabbing another cup. Back to you, Juniper.
All right, thanks, Chris. All right, Shadow Seekers, time to crank up the spectral cosmic message materializer, flipping the ethereal dial, sparking the void circuits. There we go, humming like a hive of ghost bees. Let's peer into the ether and snag whatever missive the cosmos coughs up tonight. Incoming through the crackle, a tattered scroll unfurling from the static storm, ink still wet with midnight dew. All right, you enigmatic note, spill your secrets. See what our far-flung listener conjured from the dark. It says, hey, Matt and Juniper, my name's Rowan M., checking in from Wellington, New Zealand. Yeah, way down here at the bottom of the map. I found the Shadow Frequency a few months back, and it has officially become my late-night ritual. Most nights, I'm out in my garage, sanding and refinishing old furniture. It's kind of my therapy after long work days, and your show fills that quiet, echoey space perfectly. There's something about hearing you two dive into UFO encounters, strange time glitches, reincarnation tales, and those deep-cut conspiracy episodes that makes the whole workshop feel different, like something standing just outside the light of the workbench. I usually listen on Pandora, which somehow keeps suggesting more paranormal stuff after your episode, so I fall down a shadowy rabbit hole holes for hours. But your show is still the one I'm always waiting for. Thanks for making the static feel like good company listening from the far end of the world, Rowan. Rowan, the absolute legend, sanding furniture to the tune of time glitches. That's peak shadow therapy right there. I can just see it. Saw this swirling like mini vortexes in that workbench glow holding back whatever's lurking in the garage corners. Love how our voices turn echoey spaces into portals of the peculiar. And hey, from Meon Hill's curses to your Tiwi nights, the frequency connects us all, doesn't it? If you've got your own brush with the beyond, UFO zips, cursed heirlooms, or just that glitz that makes your coffee mug vanish, drop us a line. Reminder, folks, shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Matt, your turn to chase the next haunt.
You are tuned to the Shadow Frequency, where every whisper tells a story from beyond the veil. The darkness continues.
Juniper, Rowan's got me grinning ear to ear. Nothing like a tale from the world's edge to remind us the shadows stretch far. Cheers, Rowan. Keep that workbench lit, and who knows, maybe next time the thing outside steps into the glow for a chat. All right, friends, welcome back to the deeper cut of our Meon Hill descent. We've lingered on the fog-shrouded edges, but now we're wading in knee-deep in the muck where theories tangle like briars. Last half left us with Fabian's frustration, that ironclad detective staring down a village that breathes suspicion like hearth smoke. But let's crack open those envelopes that we teased earlier, labeled in faded ink, folklore, human motive, the curse. We'll sift them slow, let the chill seep in, because if Charles Walton's death teaches anything, it's that some murders aren't just crimes, they're invocations. Start with the juiciest, witchcraft ritual or pagan sacrifice. Folks, lean in. This one's got roots that twist back to the hill's marrow. The method? Too poetic for coincidence. That pitchfork through the neck, pinning him spread-eagled to the soil, straight out of Anglo-Saxon grimoires. A way to ground a witch's spirit, siphon her power into the earth so she can't haunt the living. The billhook's gashes, symbolic slashes to sever the soul's tether, echoing druid rites where blood fed the key lines under Meon Hill. And that cross on his chest? Some swear it's a runic bind rune, warding off the evil eye. Others an inverted sigil to mock the divine. Remember the hill's lore? Circles of standing stones nearby? The rolling stones and whispering nights where midsummer Sabbath supposedly drew cloaked figures chanting to horned shadows? Was Charles the high priest or the goat? The killing the witch before he curses you angle hits hard. Villagers feared his bird whispers as omens of blight, his black dog visions as invitations for the wild hunt. Imagine it, a circle of hooded locals, tools blessed under a blood moon, believing they averted a hex that wither the crops and claim the firstborn. Creepy? It's the stuff that makes you bolt the door on full moons. Flip to human motive, village grudge, or feud. Wartime's a pressure cooker, right? Rationing bites, neighbors eyes each other's scraps, and old beefs over hedgerows, those thorny borders Charles trimmed for pennies, fester into vendettas. Potter, his employer that day, comes up murky. Financial snarls, whispers of unpaid wages or land grabs gone sour. Amplified by blackout fears, paranoia turns a shove into a slaying. Folklore, the alibi scrawled in blood. Or practical motive, money or land. Investigators grilled Potter and the laborers. Did Charles stumble on a black market skim or hold a deed that pinched someone's inheritance? Foggy at best, no ledgers surfaced, but greed's a quiet blade, slipping in under superstition's cloak. Now, the curse. The black dog legend and the cursing man myth. Those spectral hounds aren't just yarn, they're folklore's reaper, padding through English tales from Shropshire to Suffolk, eyes like judgment lanterns. Charles' boyhood haunting? Tied to his sister's grave, and citing spiked pre-murder. Fabian himself glimpsed one during the probe, a shaggy shape vanishing into the hawthorns, leaving a local lad pale as milk. Did the Grim Reaper inspire the killer, or was it Walton's claim of mastery over such beasts that sealed his throat? Tie it to the myth. Villagers branded him the cursing man, blaming failed harvests on his glance, soured wells on his mutter. A curse flung back, or a fanatic playing exorcist, tools as holy relics to stop the supernatural threat. Matt here pondering how folklore doesn't just predict violence, it midwives it, birthing horrors from half-remembered dread. But here's a thread to chew on, something to ground us amid the mist. While the occult hums loud, Occam's razor nudges us toward the mundane. Alfred Potter, that chief suspect, had means and proximity, working the farm, tangled in debts that wartime pinched tight. No ritual flair needed, a heated row over pay, a swing gone lethal, tools at hand for the cover-up. Fabian chased it hard, but evidence slipped like eels. No prints, no witnesses breaking the wall of fear. Skeptical? Sure, but it humanizes the abyss, reminds us myths often mask the monster next door. Still, that cross, those pins, too neat for accident, too ancient for coincidence. Zoom out to the Walton case in culture and occult history. Fabian's memoirs, publicly dismissive, but privately, he confesses Meon Hill felt older than England itself, a pulse underfoot like the land breathing grudges. It unnerved him, that veil of secrecy, leaving him with lowered eyes and talk of bad crops echoing in dreams. Legacy-wise, it's catnip for occult scribes, cited in tomes on ritual crime, debated in modern covens as folklore weaponized against the other. Meon Hill? Still a magnet for ghost hunters, EVPs cracking with old Welsh chants. Local legends cling stubborn, sightings of a lone elder shambling the paths, black dogs materializing at crossroads, lights drifting like lost souls over the nights. Breaking it down, Juniper, no murder weapon beyond his own, no motive all could swallow, no suspect charged. A village steeped in superstition, truth as slippery as hill dew. Fabian, the unyielding detective, forced to fold his hand. Was it murder masked by myth, or myth made flesh through a killer's blade? Ties to modern ritual slayings, those copycat horrors where online grimoires fuel basement altars, psychology of the cursed, isolated souls, branded witch, unraveling under collective gaze. Collective delusion in hamlets like Quentin? It brews violence, myths as mass for the mundane mad, and how myth veils brutality. Think Bell Witch echoes or Salem's nooses, where fear forges its own phantoms. In the end, Meon Hill keeps its secrets close, whispering them to the wind, and maybe, just maybe, waiting for the next Valentine to call them home.
Waiting? Matt, that's not closing the file, that's imbibing the curse to tea.
Right.
You've got me triple-checking my locks now.
Ha! Better safe than staked. Tonight's a reminder, some shadows don't fade, they root deeper. Thanks for wandering with us, friends. Until the frequency hums again, over to you, Juniper.
And there you have it, Shadow Seekers, the cursing at Meon Hill, where an old man's blood still stains the folklore red. From Charles Walton's eerie whispers to the hill's unrelenting pull, it's a puzzle that defies the dawn, leaving us all a little more watchful of the miss. Huge thanks for tuning in tonight. Your company makes these dives into the dark feel like shared secrets under the stars. If tonight's tale stirred your own spectral sparks, hit us up, shadowpodcast@protonmail.com for emails that might just materialize on the show. Swing by shadowfrequencypodcast.com for archived show notes and more eerie exclusives. Follow us on socials as well, where the conversation never quite ends. Join us next time for another unraveling of the unseen, because those shadows, they're always listening. Matt, you want to say goodnight?
Night wanderers, sleep light, and if the dogs howl, don't answer.
Sweet dreams, everyone. This is Juniper signing off until the frequency calls you back.
This episode was conjured with a solemn vow to explore the unexplained while remaining bound to the truths that have been unearthed. All interpretations are speculative and offered only for your enlightenment and your entertainment.